Content warning. The following video contains material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the hit list. You can't escape your face on the news. Don't mess with fate. Locked up in prison, wood chipper running hot. Police on a mission, hope you don't get caught. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the lies. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh yeah, no, no, yeah, yeah. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh. Whoa, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Couple things about this next story here. You may or may not would be the key word behind that. Notice what it is, and I'll catch up with you at the end. All right, here we go.
North Carolina man will spend more than a decade in prison for distributing child sexual abuse material. The U.S. Attorney's Office announcing the sentence today. The 48-year-old suspect shared thousands of files of images and videos for other people to download. He was later arrested at his home, and officials seized electronic devices and found more than 500,000 images of sexual abuse material. The suspect was sentenced to just over 10 years in federal prison, followed by supervised release for the rest of his life.
Okay, so, number one, who is this guy? Number two, where's his picture? Number three, why is this even on the news? I mean, it's the same thing as just me telling you, hey, another chomo went to prison. Jeez, people, get real.
Now at 4, a former Bremen City Schools assistant softball coach is behind bars. Jeffrey Brad Matthews is accused of sexual assault and grooming.
Atlanta News First Tracy A. McPeer reports from the Bremen Police Department. Tracy.
Well, police tell me there are at least 4 victims so far and that they are boys. All All right. Police tell me there are at least 4 victims so far and that they are boys between the ages of 14 and 17. Police are calling these victims brave for coming forward.
In all honesty, it is really shocking the courageousness of these 3 boys who essentially spearheaded this whole entire thing.
Bremen Police Sergeant Dalton McKenzie tells me a lunchroom conversation between boys on March 17th at Bremen High School was the start of victims coming forward.
Once he realized that it happened to me, it happened to you, it happened to you, it turned into we've got to do something.
That led to the arrest of a Bremen High School employee, Jeffrey Brad Matthews.
He was a shuttle bus driver. He was an ISS school teacher. He had some lunchroom responsibilities, and then he was an assistant coach on some ball teams.
Matthews is now facing 12 charges, 4 counts of criminal attempt to commit a felony, 4 counts of sexual assault by a person of trust engaged in sexual conduct, and 4 counts of grooming a child for a sexual offense. Matthews turned himself in and is being held at the Haralson County Jail. Bremen City Schools sent out a statement that student safety is paramount and, quote, when concerns are raised, we act swiftly. We follow established processes and we involve the appropriate authorities to ensure a thorough review. McKenzie says their investigation is still in the early stages and they hope others will come forward.
So if there is anybody out there that is afraid or was timid, just for them to have the courage to come forward, because they deserve as much justice as anybody.
Bremen police are asking for anyone with any information on this to please reach out to them. Reporting live from Haralson County, I'm Tracy A. McPeer, Atlanta News First.
A 39-year-old man faces multiple charges following a child sex crimes investigation in Burlington. Police charged John Williamson with indecent liberties with a child and soliciting a child by computer, among other things. He is in jail tonight without bond.
A repeat sex offender who is getting another chance at freedom is back behind bars tonight.
Yeah, a group called Predator Poachers, which baits potential pedophiles online and then films those confrontations, got some of their latest catches right here in Utah. KSL investigator Daniela Rivera has reported on these predator hunter groups before. She's here right now to explain more. Daniela?
Well, these groups present a unique challenge for law enforcement. Officials never want to encourage civilians getting involved in catching potentially violent criminals. But at the same time, this group is credited with stopping would-be crimes against children. Special delivery
I got a package here for you.
for Chase Quinton at a Department of Corrections halfway house.
Got some messages to people from E24. Do you want to talk about it somewhere? Or?
Those messages, proof that the twice convicted sex offender violated his parole, according to Alex Rosen of Predator Poachers.
It's like we caught him in the halfway house. He was messaging 2 fake decoy accounts that he believed were 2 underage kids.
2 kids?
2 underage decoy accounts, yep. And he wanted one of them to sneak out of their house in his mind and meet him.
You cannot be texting underage kids.
After Quinton admitted to the messages on camera, Rosen involved a nearby corrections officer who immediately confiscated the parolee's phone.
He was going on a path that led him right back to where he belongs in this case, and that's in prison.
Deputy Executive Director of the Department of Corrections, Spencer Turley, said they're grateful it was predator poachers, not real children, on the other end of those messages. But they do wish they'd been looped in beforehand.
So that we can then confront them and we can address them. Some of that reduces evidentiary challenges when we get to court.
A week and a half ago, I downloaded an app. I had gotten high on that.
Turley said Quinton had recently passed a drug test and that just days before this, officers had searched his phone.
If he's out there actively engaging in sexual conversations online, I have no doubt we would have caught it.
Quinton was convicted of his first sex offense in 2018 after going to a park to meet a 13-year-old girl and finding cops instead. After his first release on parole, he was convicted of a similar crime in Idaho in 2022. July last year, he tearfully asked Utah's parole board for another chance.
I do plan on doing better this time.
He's not even the first sex offender we caught that day.
Quinton is one of 4 men Rosen and his team confronted in Utah last month. 2 of them already convicted of sex crimes.
These sex offenders should not be available for us to catch.
A spokesperson for the parole board said the last time Quinton was granted parole, they had kept him in prison longer than the state sentencing guidelines called for. He is back in custody tonight, and the parole board will decide what happens with him next. And Turley with the Department of Corrections says they're doing forensic analysis on his phone. They want to make sure no other victims were involved there.
Yeah, they're out there trying to do good. I know there's some give and take, and not everyone may be on board with that, especially maybe law enforcement, right? But what they are doing is some good stuff.
In this case, it's a positive.
Yeah. All right. Great report. Thank you, Danielle.
A Northwest Kansas teacher faces charges of child sex crimes. According to jail records, 41-year-old Jason Ostmeyer booked on aggravated indecent liberties with a child and electronic solicitation. Colby Public Schools confirm in a statement he did teach at Colby Middle School. Ostmeyer held on a $100,000.
The Michigan State Police Computer Crimes Unit Internet Crimes Against Children's Task Force has announced the arrest of Sean Corey Holm, a 41-year-old of Ishpeming, for possession of child sexually abusive material, child sexually abusive activity, and using a computer to commit a crime, according to the state police news release. Specifically, he was charged with 13 counts of child sexually abusive material, possession, 13 counts of child sexually abusive activity, aggravated assault, and 26 counts of using a computer to commit a crime. Holm was arraigned in the 96th District Court in Marquette on Monday, and his bond was set at $260,000. He's due in court on April 15th, and the defendant was arrested following an investigation which was initiated by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and the ICAC Task Force when it learned that Holm had accessed and shared illicit content over the internet. The search of his residence, of course, resulted in digital evidence being seized. Now this chomo's been seized.
A Roanoke man has been sentenced to 28 years in prison for the sexual exploitation of a child. According to the U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Michigan, Eric Zeeb posed as an Olympian in training to a 15-year-old online back in 2012. He presented himself as someone who could help the victim with her own Olympic aspirations. The district judge said Zeeb groomed the victim, gained her parents' trust, and then used that access to sexually exploit her on multiple occasions. Law enforcement received credible accounts of similar exploitation and abuse by Zeeb throughout this investigation.
Well, Fred, this is a tough one for people to process, those who know Anton Bilski and also those who worked with him. He worked as a 911 dispatcher here in Chester County. He also volunteered as a lieutenant at this fire company, and it's here where prosecutors allege he hid a camera and recorded fellow firefighters.
25-year-old Anton Bilski of Landenberg, Chester County, is in federal custody after more than a dozen agents and local police raided his home in late March. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, Bilski was the subject of a months-long investigation into child pornography after agents in Europe tipped off federal agents here that he was allegedly involved in distributing pornography of minors.
Avondale Fire Company is aware of the filing of serious charges against a member who has been suspended from membership and relieved of all responsibility.
He was a volunteer lieutenant firefighter here at the Avondale Fire Company. A statement from the U.S. Attorney's Office, which is prosecuting the case, says additional crimes were discovered during the investigation of Bilski, including pornographic material of multiple young boys who served as volunteers in the same fire company where Bilski worked, through surreptitious recordings believed to have been made by a camera the defendant concealed within the fire company.
We have not found any evidence of that. Like I say, it's still under investigation.
Longtime Fire Chief Guy Swift says they did their own investigation of the building and found no hidden camera or devices. Neighbors tell us they saw agents seize computers and other devices from the home Bilski shares with his parents and sister. They are stunned and say this news will devastate people living nearby.
And as we said, Bilski worked as a 911 dispatcher for Chester County. A representative with the county confirms he is no longer employed there. The charge he is facing, receipt of pornography, carries a prison sentence of 5 to 20 years. Reporting live in Chester County, Katie Zachary, NBC 10 News.
Deeply disturbing.
Good afternoon, everyone. We begin with some breaking news. Local teacher charged with rape, arraigned on a 9-count indictment this morning. News 10 ABC's Valerie Wences in the courtroom. She joins us live with the very latest from the Albany County Courthouse. Valerie, what can you tell us?
Hi, Christina. Yes, today we saw Drake Galarno, a Cohoes High School teacher and son-in-law of the Cohoes mayor. He was arraigned with an indictment. He was charged with 9-count indictment, 8 for rape in the 3rd degree and 1 on endangering the welfare of a child. Judge McDonough set his bail to $40,000 cash, $50,000 bond, or $75,000 partially secured bond, and gave Galarno a curfew of 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. He also issued an order of protection for the victim, who remained nameless on the record, with Galarno banned from making any contact with them. Galarno's attorney weighing in on Galarno's willingness to play by the rules and remain in Cohoes.
He's a lifelong resident of Cohoes, so certainly when courts are looking at risk of flight, they're looking at ties to the community, and the fact that he's lived here his entire life and has family here is extraordinarily relevant.
Now, the judge raised a question of Galarno's address since 2 were listed on his documents. His attorney confirming he's no longer living at the house he owns with his wife, but is staying with his mother at this time instead. Reporting in Albany, Valerie Wences, News 10 ABC.
All right, Valerie, thank you so much. We appreciate the update. To other news now.
A former Nampa pastor sentenced to prison after accepting a plea deal. 53-year-old Matthew Masowitz pleaded guilty to 4 felonies and admitted to 3 counts of sharing child sexual abuse materials. He also admitted to 1 count of having or accessing that material. A judge accepted his plea deal yesterday, dropping the other charges against him, but he will serve 17 years.
A former youth soccer coach in Modesto was sentenced to more than 5 years in prison after he was convicted of child pornography charges. Matthew Paez was convicted of possessing more than 600 images of child sexual assault material, contacting a minor with the intent to engage in sex acts, and disturbing sexual images of himself to a minor, and other related charges. Paez was arrested last June when the Turlock Police Department received a tip that child porn images were being uploaded to electronic devices in the city. He will have to register as a sex offender when he's released.
Also new at 11, new details concerning a former Gloucester County middle school teacher who's charged with sexually assaulting a student. Today, a judge ruled 36-year-old Ashley Fissler must remain in jail. Fissler was arrested last week on 8 charges, including sexual assault of a minor and endangering the welfare of a child. According to court documents, the victim, who is now an adult, told police about multiple sexual encounters back in 2021, including incidents inside Fissler's vehicle and in her classroom at Orchard Valley Middle School in Washington Township. During a hearing this week, prosecutors revealed investigators recovered more than 7,500 pages of text messages between the victim and Fissler. A criminal complaint also alleges that she sent multiple nude photographs to the victim. Ashley Fissler has denied all of the allegations against her.
A Colorado fugitive wanted on sexual assault charges was arrested this morning in Santa Rosa Beach. 51-year-old Pablo Rocco Forenza had nationwide warrants out of Colorado for sexual assault of a child, sexual exploitation of a child, and possession of sexual exploitative material. The Walton County Sheriff's Office took him into custody around 5:30 this morning without incident after executing a search warrant. Deputies also discovered his vehicle had a fictitious license plate. Forenza is currently at the Walton County Jail waiting for extradition to Colorado.
The Carroll County Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigations Division and the Aggressive Criminal Enforcement Unit on March 30th jointly responded to a tip involving the suspected sexual exploitation of a child. Authorities said the tip came from the Kick Messenger and was screened by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which marked it high priority due to its nature. What's that say? Investigators responded rapidly to the report, identifying the victim as a 6-month-old infant. Investigators confirmed the child's location and secured a warrant. During the execution of the search warrant, investigators made contact with the child's mother, 20-year-old Rachel Bloom, who allegedly admitted her involvement in the exploitation of her child and the distribution of illicit material. Bloom was arrested for sexual exploitation of children, child molestation, aggravated sexual battery, and cruelty to children. She is now in the Carroll County Jail with no bail.
A man in Gaston County Jail is facing incest charges. Authorities yesterday arrested Francisco Rosales Ortiz with the help of federal agents. He is wanted on charges of incest and sexual exploitation of a child. Officials say Rosales Ortiz forced a minor family member into sexual intercourse and recorded it. He's being held without bond.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.
This Friday includes this story. A man accused of several crimes related to child pornography is now being held in Riley County on a bond of $1 million. Riley County police say 32-year-old Philip Dews of Manhattan has been booked now on several counts, including the aggravated violation of the Offender Registration Act, 5 counts of perjury, 1 count of the sexual exploitation of a child, possession of media involving a child younger than 18, and 1 count of aggravated internet trading involving child pornography.
Another horrific case of child abuse has emerged out of northern New Mexico. A Las Vegas man is accused of sexually exploiting his daughters for years. A warning, some may find the details of this story disturbing. News 13's Bianca Hoops reports from Las Vegas.
I'm really wondering, what does it take to keep our children safe? And how, as New Mexicans, do we break this cycle?
Shocking and graphic details outlined in court records describing sexual abuse of 2 girls as young as 4 and 7 years old. Their father, 43-year-old John Lee, charged with 2 counts of human trafficking. Investigators say from 2012 to 2019, Lee allowed other men to have sex with his daughters in exchange for drugs and money. That includes Jonas Romero, who's accused of sexually penetrating 1 girl when she was 13 years old. He was arrested today in Rio Rancho. According to court documents, the daughters told investigators the incidents happened in the Las Vegas Walmart parking lot and at his home. After the sexual exchange, the girls say they would be offered a toy from Walmart. Child welfare advocate Marilyn Beck.
It's just so omnipresent how hurt our kids are right now. From child fatalities to we've had just crisis after crisis after headline after crisis.
This is the latest horrific child abuse case to come out this week. 38-year-old Sonia Jimenez is accused of giving birth inside a portable toilet at Burn Lake in Las Cruces Saturday, then disposing her body in the holding tank. Also over the weekend, police say 28-year-old Yalisha Smith set her Albuquerque apartment on fire with her children still inside. Police say they found the children covered in lighter fluid. A judge ruled today she will remain behind bars until trial. Then on Tuesday, San Juan County deputies arrested 43-year-old John Hannon after they say he killed an 11-month-old and burying his body in a shallow grave near Farmington.
We are the most dangerous place in the entire United States for children. We can do better.
Bianca Hoops, KRQE, News 13.
The state filed a pretrial detention motion to keep John Lee locked up until trial. CYFD says they've had no history of investigating him or his children.
Arkansas. An Elm Springs small business owner is out of jail on a $500,000 bond after investigators say he attempted to purchase time with an underage girl for sex. According to an affidavit, Zachary Estep exchanged text messages with an undercover detective in late March of this year, wherein he described in graphic detail his desire to engage in sexual acts with an underage minor. Estep, a 39-year-old, began texting with an unnamed adult female who had told the police later on that he had also paid her for sex in the past. Well, he did that on March 27th, and he commented on a photograph that he had previously seen of the adult female's minor daughter. In the messages, Estep begins by asking the adult female if he and his wife can babysit her kids. Estep tells the adult female that he and his wife would spoil her, saying a Florida Disney trip or the beach, things like that, and then sending a photo of a pool in his backyard saying that the child would love it. The mother then grew very concerned and contacted the police, who then took over those text conversations in which the chomo offered up to $400 to take the child for a while. And of course that's when the cops took him down. Zachary Estep was booked for trafficking of persons, transportation of minors for prohibited sexual conduct, both of which are Class Y felonies, by the way. Pretty high stuff. And internet stalking of a minor, which is also a Class B felony. In addition to the $500,000 bond, Estep must wear an ankle monitor, and he has no contact order with the adult female. His next scheduled court appearance is May 11th. See ya, Chomo.
Former Longview eye doctor was sentenced to prison today for 2 child sex crimes. August Wallace was arrested in October of 2024 on those charges involving a 15-year-old girl. Today, he pleaded guilty to those crimes. KLTV7's Katie Parker brings us those statements from the judge, prosecution, and the sentencing.
This is one of the most disgusting cases we ever deal with.
Today, 52-year-old August Wallace, a former Longview eye doctor, pleaded guilty to online solicitation of a minor and possession of child pornography.
Do you understand what you're charged with in each case?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to those charges?
Guilty.
All right.
Arrest documents show Wallace sent sexual messages and images to a 15-year-old girl over several months in 2023. Gregg County District Attorney John Moore says if it weren't for the victim's request, the prosecution would have rejected the plea agreement.
We truly believe a life sentence would be appropriate in this, and we're just sorry that we can't get life without the possibility of parole. However, our victim doesn't want that, so we're going forward with her so she doesn't have to degrade her life any further from what this doctor has done.
I do agree with Mr. Moore that cases like this oftentimes deserve a life sentence, but also you have to consider the wishes of the victim, because making a victim testify in a case like this further can oftentimes further victimize that victim.
Wallace was given the maximum 10 years for online solicitation of a minor, a third-degree felony. And he was sentenced to 40 years for the first-degree felony of possession of child pornography. The sentences will run concurrently, and Wallace will receive credit for 540 days of time served. Katie Parker, KLTV 7 News.
Wallace will have to serve half of his 40-year sentence before he is eligible for parole. He will also have to register as a sex offender when he...
Breaking tonight, a former music teacher is in custody on charges of child pornography. David Groth, he's 38, is facing 2 counts of child pornography. These are federal charges. According to court documents, one of the charges alleges distribution and possession of images of 2 children, one prepubescent and the other under 12. This man was a vocal music teacher at Bellevue East. District officials confirmed to First Alert 6 tonight that he turned in his letter of resignation today.
A Union County elementary school teacher in jail tonight accused of a child sex crime. 31-year-old Zachary Winchester is now on administrative leave from Benton Heights Elementary School after authorities arrested him yesterday.
WCNC Charlotte's Jesse Pierre is live in Monroe across from that school. So, Jesse, what do we know?
Well, we do know Zachary Winchester is an art teacher here at Benton Heights Elementary School and that he's worked with the district for about 10 years. The school district also did confirm that the alleged incident did not involve a student here at Benton Heights. It's a place meant for learning and safety. And now a Benton Heights Elementary School teacher is under a disturbing investigation.
It's disgusting, first of all. I feel like there's nothing else that can really be said about that.
Zachary Winchester charged with indecent liberties with a child under 16 years old. Union County Sheriff's Office say this is an ongoing investigation, and they continue to gather evidence on the case, and electronic devices have been seized.
Our digital forensic experts inside of our crime lab will begin to evaluate those devices, and so we're unsure this time if more charges will be coming.
The allegations raising serious concerns and strong reactions.
I didn't go to that school specifically, but I did go to a different school where something similar happened, and it's very scary to know that you were in such close contact with somebody that could be capable of doing things that are so disgusting and so vile.
They should be punished for what they're doing to that child, because no kid should go through that.
It's unclear how Winchester and the child met. Now, pending the outcome of the investigation, he is on administrative leave from the school.
When someone's hurt a child, you can't put them around children again.
Winchester is being held without bond, and his next scheduled hearing is on April 28. Live in Monroe, Jesse Pierre, WCNC Charlotte.
Yeah, some very disturbing allegations there.
That's right. Thanks, Jesse.
All right, we've got Timu Hannibal Lecter here. Southwest Florida pastor has been arrested on child sexual abuse material charges. This is Robert Glossinger, on the right, of course, the 76-year-old of Alva. He was arrested by the Lee County Sheriff's Office on Tuesday, March 31st, after detectives executed a search warrant of his home and found child sexual abuse material on all of his electronic devices. The suspect told detectives that he would exchange it with strangers who he chatted with online. Glossinger was a pastor at Riverbend Christian Worship, which is in the Riverbend Motor Coach Resort in LaBelle. This is a disturbing case where a pastor, a person of power and trust, was searching and graphically sexually exchanging perverted pictures and videos with others online. Glossinger has been charged with 3 counts of possession of child sexually abusive material and 3 counts of transmission of CSAM, and is in custody as we speak with no bond. He's scheduled to appear in court on May 4th for an arraignment. See ya, Chomo.
Glenn has been following this case and joins us live in Tacoma, where the defendant was expected to be sentenced this afternoon. Leanne?
Well, prosecutors in this case say there are more than 50 victims, but to date only one has been identified. Victim family members say in court today the death penalty would be more appropriate for Joshua Strickland.
This monster needs to go away for the rest of his life, and I hope this person rots in prison for the rest of his life.
Convicted of 38 counts for abusing children and possessing and sharing child sexual abuse material, Joshua Strickland will spend at least the next 26 and a half years in prison. According to court documents, the investigation started in 2022 after a therapist came forward reporting possible abuse. Puyallup police say Joshua Strickland abused an 8-year-old child in his care in the bathroom of a Walmart and took photos. Investigators seized Strickland's devices and say he had over 20,000 images and 4,600 videos of children on his cell phone.
He understood every time he opened, viewed, shared, or solicited for these videos, he was re-victimizing those kids, and he did not care.
In 2023, records show the State Department of Health revoked his nursing assistant and medical assistant licenses after he was found to have sexually abused a minor in his care. In February, Strickland was found guilty of all 38 counts, including rape of a child and child molestation. Strickland was sentenced to 318 months to life, required to serve at least 26 and a half years before the possibility of release. The victim's family members promising to be there every step of the way.
Don't forget, I will always be in the background of every appeal, every motion, everything you file. I know you did all these things, no matter how much you deny it.
And sentencing was delayed slightly this afternoon after Strickland, who is representing himself, filed several motions, including a motion for a new trial, which was denied. Reporting live in Tacoma, Leanne Wynn, Como News.
And a Grand Island sex offender is heading to prison after he was convicted of additional sex crimes. 49-year-old Jeffrey Wilson received 84 to 100 years on two counts of first-degree sexual assault. The judge broke it down to 42 to 50 years on each charge to be served consecutively. He's also been charged with abuse of a child, but as a part of a plea deal, those charges were reduced. Court records indicate that police investigated a child sexual assault that happened in 2019 when Wilson lived with the victim and her family. The victim was younger than 12 at the time. As part of his sentence, he'll also have to register as a sex offender.
I know that there are additional children that need to be identified. How many, I'm not sure yet. Mr. Boykin was brought in for questioning about those images and videos. After that questioning by police, he was arrested.
Prosecutors went into court fully loaded today because the Kenton County grand jury indicted Joshua Boykin on more than 200 charges for sexually abusing children. Covington police arrested Boykin in January after his wife called them saying that she found some disturbing things on his phone. Kenton County Commonwealth's attorney, Rob Sanders, who you just heard from, tells us it was child porn involving very young children. Court documents say at least one of those victims is a baby, and there are videos of children being raped. Prosecutors do think he filmed a lot of those videos himself. So, again, lots of charges. 244 made up of 15 counts of rape of a child, 38 counts of sodomy of a child, 37 counts of sexual abuse of a child, 50 counts of promoting a sexual performance by a minor, 102 child porn charges, and 2 counts of human trafficking. Sanders says today's indictment involves 3 different victims, but at least 2 more suspected victims from other jurisdictions were also discovered, and there could be more victims out there. So police say if you think there's a possibility, even a slight chance that your child could be one of those victims, you're asked to call them. They can collect photos of your child and then compare them to the victims in the images and the videos recovered from his phone. He is facing, again, 244 charges. If he's convicted, he could get life in prison. He will be back in court on the 20th.
A Saluda County man will spend decades in prison after pleading guilty to serious child sex crimes. State Attorney General Alan Wilson says 33-year-old Devin Saylor pled guilty to first-degree criminal sexual conduct with a minor and sexual exploitation. Investigators were alerted by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children through a cyber tip last year. Authorities say Saylor admitted to abusing a child and sharing explicit videos online. A judge sentenced him to 40 years in prison. When released, he'll face lifetime GPS monitoring and register as a Tier 3 sex offender.
Now, a 58-year-old Fort Wayne man was arrested Friday for allegedly molesting a girl beginning when she was 11 years old. The man up on your screen right now is Thomas Rodman Jr. After a joint investigation between the Fort Wayne Police Department and the New Haven Police Department, the Allen County Prosecutor's Office has formally charged Thomas F. Rodman Jr. with 4 counts of child molesting, 2 counts of sexual misconduct with a minor, and 2 counts of child seduction. The victim told investigators the abuse began when she was 11 years old and didn't end until several years later, according to court records obtained by 21 Investigates. She said Rodman threatened to ruin her life if she ever told anyone about what was happening, and that he would say she was on drugs to get her kicked out of school activities. When asked why she made the report, the victim told detectives, quote, "It is so much stress, I didn't want to do it anymore," end quote. In October, police served a search warrant at Rodman's home and took a cell phone and other electronic devices, recovering messages between him and that victim. And now a 26-year-old Indiana man is facing federal charges after allegedly stalking a 12-year-old New Jersey girl, convincing her to harm herself, and possessing images of child sexual abuse. Billy Joe Holman, also known as William Holman of West Lebanon, is charged with cyberstalking and possession of child pornography. Court documents say Holman met the victim on a social media platform in October. He then systematically targeted the girl, whom he knew to be 12 years old, by grooming, coercing, and otherwise compelling her to carry out his orders, according to court records. Holman allegedly used coercive control, described as behavior used to dominate another person through manipulation, court records show. He used weaponized affection and then used verbal abuse or threats to direct the girl's actions. Over about a month, Holman allegedly coerced the victim to harm herself, including by carving his initials into her skin, punching herself in the stomach on video. Court records say he also demanded that the girl take and send child sexual abuse material to him. Both of Holman's charges carry a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison and a fine of up to $250,000. The case is part of Project Safe Childhood, which is a nationwide initiative to combat the growing epidemic of child sexual exploitation and abuse.
A 29-year-old man from Sherwood will spend more than 7 years in prison after sexually abusing a 9-year-old child in Independence. Malcolm Cade was sentenced to 85 months behind bars after pleading no contest to 2 counts of first-degree sex abuse. A judge said that he must serve the full sentence with no chance for early release. He'll also be on supervision after prison and must register as a sex offender. Well, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. If you or someone that you know needs help, you can contact the confidential hotline at 1-800-656-HOPE.
Down to Florida again, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office has arrested a 41-year-old man on over 200 charges, including child exploitation and possession of child sexually abusive material. The HCSO deputies were alerted to suspicious activity at Oak Ridge Equestrian Park in Santanesa. I think that's how you say it. Deputies said that Justin Bea, a 41-year-old, was discovered in a vehicle with a 15-year-old victim on March 15th. Following an investigation, deputies said that Bea had been in contact with and meeting the juvenile for over a period of several months. A forensic search of his phone produced more than 900 files of child sexual abuse material and explicit content involving, you know it, animals. On Friday, April 3rd, Bea was arrested on 207 felony charges. He's being charged with the following: solicitation or possession of CSAM, 100 counts; film, distribute, or possess image or video of sexual activity with an animal, 100 counts; traveling to meet a minor after using a computer service or device to solicit certain illegal acts, lewd or lascivious molestation, forcing or enticing lewd or lascivious conduct, lewd or lascivious battery, lewd or lascivious exhibition, and transmission of harmful material to a minor. It's pretty unclear if a hearing date's been set for this chomo yet.
A Spokane man was arrested this week in Cheney for charges involving child sex crimes. Now, those charges are from a case he failed to appear for in Iowa. Obet Jali appeared in court for the first time, facing charges of enticing a minor under 16 and prostitution. The prosecuting attorney says there are 2 victims in the case that stems from Iowa. Jolly's lawyer says he's been living in Spokane since 2021, but a LinkedIn profile matching his name indicates he was previously working as a paraeducator for a school district in Iowa. A public database shows he was employed as an aide for Spokane Public Schools from 2021 to 22. The judge set his bail at $100,000, saying there is a risk to community safety if he were released.
One of the specific charges is sexual exploitation and has caused them to engage in an act of sexual contact. The court is concerned about those as well.
Jolly's family was in the courtroom, say they were not aware of any of the charges. For now, Jolly's lawyer says he will fight extradition back to Iowa because he works and has a family here.
Now to a disturbing development in the case of a 12-year-old's death in Enfield. Her body was found inside this home 16 days ago. And while investigators are still trying to figure out exactly how she died, police believe she was sexually assaulted by her stepfather. You're looking at him there. He's a school bus driver who's now out of a job and locked up behind bars. NBC Connecticut's Jane Chaco has the very latest on this case, and we do want to warn you, some of the details you're about to hear are unsettling.
My heart breaks for the little girl.
As police investigate what led up to a 12-year-old girl's death, they found enough evidence to arrest her stepfather, 39-year-old Anthony Federline, for other charges. When police went to the home on Elm Street last month, they found the girl with a blanket over her lower half, naked from the waist down, and pills in the room, according to the arrest warrant. Investigators found evidence of a sexual assault. They swabbed for DNA and compared it to samples from her family. The DNA analysis led investigators to Federline and one unknown individual.
The work that's done in the sexual assault kit and certainly the forensic analysis that's done
by the folks at the forensic science lab. The toxicology lab are of the highest integrity.
Federline was charged with first-degree sexual assault and risk of injury to a child. The warrant notes his reactions throughout the investigation. During an interview, he was overcome with emotions, later asking for space because he, quote, wanted to break things. When he agreed to give his DNA, he said he was upset because it felt like it was putting, quote, salt in the wound. We learned from the school district Federline was let go from his job as a bus driver with Enfield Public Schools following his arrest. He was a driver for 6 months and was properly vetted and had no prior criminal history, according to the bus company. A spokesperson for the Department of Children and Families says they are investigating these new allegations in addition to the girl's death that has left this neighborhood shaken.
I can't imagine what her life was like throughout that house. It's just so sad. It makes me tear up, like I said, just thinking about her.
DCF did not comment on whether the agency had prior contact with the girl's family. The police chief says the girl's 3 other siblings, 17, 9, and 6 years old, appear to be safe.
I have every confidence that the children are in good, safe, and appropriate places.
Federline was booked here at the Enfield Police Department, and his bond was set at $1 million. He is expected to be in court on Monday. The Office of the Medical Examiner is still looking into the cause and manner of the 12-year-old girl's death. In Enfield, Jane Chaco, NBC Connecticut News.
We are learning more today about a disturbing arrest out of Atlantic County. A pre-K teacher's aide is charged with sexually abusing multiple children over a 10-year span. New Jersey correspondent Trish Hartman is live in Summers Point with why authorities are concerned there could be more victims. Good evening, Trish.
Hi, Tamala. Yeah, we spoke to parents at that school in Woodbine who are also very concerned. Now, the allegations detailed in the court documents that we received today are extremely concerning and disturbing. Sean Stebbins was arrested on Sunday, and he's accused of abusing 4 siblings over a period of 10 years. 43-year-old Sean Stebbins of Summers Point, an elementary school teacher's aide, is charged with sexual assault of a child, photographing a child in a sex act, and more. Court documents detailed disturbing allegations of abuse in his home from 2014 to 2025. Authorities say one of the now adult victims came forward last week, which led to the discovery of 3 more victims, all siblings.
Persons who commit these type of acts put themselves in positions to have access to children, and it's exactly what happened in this particular case.
Authorities say Stebbins has worked as a pre-kindergarten teacher's aide at Woodbine Elementary School since 2022, and they're very concerned there could be more victims.
We really need to be vigilant, and if the parents are notified by their children, the parents, we would request immediately call local law enforcement where they live.
Action News obtained this memo the school sent to parents today explaining Stebbins was contracted through the vendor ESS. It says in part, quote, upon being informed of the arrest, the district immediately requested a replacement aide. The safety and well-being of our students remain our highest priority.
I just went to my son and asked him about if you know the teacher. I showed him the picture and he said yes.
Emmanuel Rios has 3 children at Woodbine Elementary, 1 in the pre-K program.
They got to investigate. We need to know what happened because it's concerning. I mean, there's a lot of kids with disabilities there.
And we have reached out to that vendor ESS and we have not heard back today. Stebbins is locked up in the Atlantic County Jail pending a detention hearing that is scheduled for Monday. He does not have an attorney listed. We're live in Summers Point, New Jersey. Trish Hartman, Channel 6, Action News. Sarah.
So disturbing and upsetting for all those parents. Trish, thank you.
Morris, the founder of one of the country's largest churches, has now completed 6 months behind bars in Osage County, Oklahoma, part of his sentence for sexually abusing a young girl there decades ago. Andrea Lucia broke the news of his guilty plea in that case last October and as he was put in handcuffs. She is back in Oklahoma today, reporting on his release.
And Robert, Morris was released shortly after midnight. That's not normally when the Osage County Jail here lets inmates out. But officials told me with his high profile, there were security concerns. In a statement today, Morris addressed his incarceration, saying, at first it was a hard thing to handle. But the more time I spent in that jail cell, the more clearly I could see that what the Clemishire family, his victim's family, set in motion was an act of integrity. He also wrote of his abuse, "I am deeply sorry. I have carried the weight of that wrong for a very long time, and I am grateful, genuinely grateful that the Clemishires had the courage to bring this into the light." Morris still has 9.5 years of probation to serve and a lifetime ahead of him as a sex offender. As such, he'll have to register with authorities here in Oklahoma and in his home county back in North Texas. Court records indicate Morris plans to serve out his probation at his $1.5 million lakefront home in Palo Pinto County. He'll be required to report his whereabouts to a probation officer and be barred from consuming alcohol, carrying a gun, or associating with other convicted felons. His time in court, though, is far from over. The child he pled guilty to molesting, Cindy Clemishire, is now a grown woman, and she's not done in her pursuit for justice. She has sued him and Gateway Church in civil court, alleging they tried to cover up her abuse. The church has denied those claims. Morris, meanwhile, has also sued the church he founded, saying it promised him and his wife a retirement package, paying out up to $800,000 a year as long as either is alive. The church has denied that, too. In a new statement today, Cindy Clemishire called Morris's release a new chapter in a long journey. She said her truth remains on the truth that has finally come to light. Now, back in October, we interviewed her and asked her about this 6-month jail term. She explained that the plea deal that she approved got her two things she felt strongly about. One, she saw Morris go to jail for at least some period of time. And two, she says she got to see him admit what he did. In Osage County, Andrea Lucia, CBS News, Texas.
New details of a child abuse, sex abuse arrest in Tift County. And this is really a reminder for families across Southwest Georgia to keep the warning signs and know what to do if a child tells you something happened and know where to go. Ashanti Drake is joining us now with more on this. Ashanti, tell us about this new arrest.
Yeah, so the biggest thing about this arrest was that this person has been arrested in Tift County on multiple child sex abuse charges. And we do have that those details that's coming up on our website, WALB.com, but you're taking a look now at Henry Darden, and this is from the public records with Tift County Police Department, and they say that he is arrested in connection with allegations involving a minor, and records list charges including statutory rape and enticing a child for indecent purposes. And advocates say cases like this can happen in any community, and most children are victimized by someone that they know and trust, so that's why they want you to really know the warning signs. They want you to make sure that you have conversations with their children.
Number one, if a child discloses to you, believe them. That's one of the biggest things. So many children are just not believed, and honestly, false allegations are less than 5%. So if a child does disclose, make sure that you're reporting that to law enforcement or DFACS. And once that report comes in, then kids will come here. Always have an open conversation with them and teach them proper names for body parts. Right? When we use proper names for body parts, we assume that parents have had that conversation about touches that are okay, touches that are not okay. So having that open communication and consistently having it is key.
Yeah, now Ms. Martinez with the Lily Pad says that once abuse is disclosed, make sure that you report it immediately. And the Lily Pad is just one representation of that. Their response times are just 45 minutes. So as soon as you call them, they are there within 45 minutes, anytime, day or night. And the center services more than 350 children here in the city of Albany, across Dougherty County. And that's a huge number because it's only 365 days in a year. Yeah. And to know that they service 350 children and people, because it does range from young people to the elderly, that's huge. So if you do have any services that you need, or if you do need to get in contact with them, make sure that you contact them. They have a 24-hour crisis hotline. That number is 229-435-0074. And if a child is in immediate danger, make sure you call 911.
All right, sounds good. Ashanti, you'll have more on this story coming up later today, starting first at 4. Thank you.
Down in Georgia here, the Hall County Sheriff's Office said that Davis Pagan, 31-year-old, had been charged with aggravated sexual battery, aggravated child molestation, and child molestation, which are all felony charges. The victim, a girl under the age of 16, reported the crimes to a school counselor this week. The counselor then notified the Division of Family and Children's Services and the Hall County Sheriff's Office after the victim disclosed the assaults. According to the agencies, Investigators determined that the alleged assaults occurred between January of last year and March of this year. Pagan and the victim are known to one another also, according to the Hall County Sheriff's Office. Pagan remains in the Hall County Jail with no bond as of the last report.
One for a rainbow, one for Amanda.
Who you playing with, sweetie?
Amanda.
Huh? Oh, who are you?
I'm Amanda. I'm 6, and I love unicorns.
Sexual predators are seeking kids online.
We don't know Amanda.
Learn how to report abuse at end-violence.org/protect.
Broken clock on the back wall, counting down till the last bell rings. You lock the door with the plastic smile, say this is just our little secret thing.